flood into the country and especially the state's coffers every year. Yet, the country faces immense challenges: extreme poverty, insecurity in large parts of the country, a weakened economy, bad roads, insufficient energy supply are all part of everyday life in Nigeria. The endemic corruption which has been depriving the country of the resources it needs to develop is largely to blame for the current state of affairs. In this light, the fight against corruption is one of the biggest challenges that Nigeria faces today. It is, in fact, the key to development. The role of the legislature is in this regard not to be underestimated. It is the assignment of the National Assembly not only to set the legal framework for an effective fight against corruption, but also to put a successful oversight in place to uncover corrupt forces in Nigeria and to contribute in this way to the President Buhari's commitment to eradicate corruption in Nigeria. Our organization, CAS, on one hand, a German foundation associated with the ruling German party, the Christian Democratic Union, the party of the German Chancellor Angela Merkel, and on the other hand, being part of the German Development Cooperation and therefore funded by the German government, has established offices in more than 100 countries. Our official mandate is to promote democratic and good governance and to support the democratic forces in their attempt to develop their countries. We consider the introduction and the respect for the rule of law, transparency, and the fight against corruption as some of the most important aspects when it comes to develop a strong democracy. Therefore, it is our great pleasure to partner for the first time with the House Committee on Anti-Corruption in order to explore ways in the fight against corruption with members of the House, the ICPC, related MDAs, and with representatives of the civil society. I would like to express my gratitude to the Speaker of the House for the trust put in our organization, and I would like to assure him and the House our support to the intention to improve democratic governance in Nigeria. The House of Representatives and our organization have been collaborating in many areas of joint interest in the past. Yesterday, we concluded a 2-day capacity building for the House Committee on Human Rights. We have trained the Committee on National Security and Intelligence and the Committee on Reformatory Services in effective oversight. We have been providing consultancy to security-related committees in the House, and we have been partnering closely with the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies in many more activities that were supposed to strengthen the capacity of lawmakers in Nigeria. Soon, we will release a manual on oversight in the security sector in partnership with NIOT, and we plan to provide assistance to all security-related House committees to strengthen their oversight capacities. We truly hope that these activities, but also and especially today's seminar, will enhance the fight against corruption in Nigeria and contribute to a long-term improvement of living conditions in this country. In this light, I wish all of us a productive and fruitful seminar. Thank you, and may God bless us. Thank you.
Against corruption, the role of the legislature. It is aimed at helping the committee to effectively discharge her duties. The importance of capacity building in human life cannot be overemphasized because of the advantages or merits derived from it. First, it broadens the knowledge and know-how of the participants. It also helps in institutional growth, even in the country and the world at large. We all know the dynamics of corruption, hence we need to try every available means to tackle it. This capacity building for honorable members on anti-corruption is a crucial component of the 9th House of Representative Legislative Agenda on Anti-Corruption. At the inaugural meeting of the committee, an ad hoc committee was set up to design a work plan to assist her in the discharge of her mandate, and one of the proposals from the ad hoc committee was to collaborate and seek support from organizations of like minds in order to tackle the menace of anti-corruption, the menace of corruption. We all know the crucial role the Parliament has to play in the fight against corruption, and to be able to do so, she needs not only to be well informed, but also to be well armed and equipped. It is therefore noteworthy to appreciate Conrad Adenyo Stephen Foundation, the country representatives and staff for this wonderful privilege given to the committee. And may I, on behalf of the committee, say thank you and assure you that members will maximize the gains of this workshop in carrying out its functions, not just as a legislator, but also as a member of the Committee on Anti-Corruption. I want to sincerely appreciate the Honorable Speaker for finding the time of his busy schedule despite short notice, as you can see that is being represented by our worthy Deputy Leader. Thank you very much. Especially like Oliver Twist, expect the committee again on every single proposal that we might be bringing, and I'm sure the leader will convey this message that the committee will always be at the door of the Speaker. In the same vein, I thank all the chief executive officers of the agencies under the purview of the committee, the Independent Corrupt Practices and other related commission. The chairman is here. Thank you very much. Code of Conduct Bureau, thank you, Madam Secretary. The Code of Conduct Tribunal, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for also responding to the invitation of the committee despite the short notice. This is an evidence that we are partners in progress, and together we shall win the fight against corruption. To my esteemed colleagues, I say thank you for this sacrifice, and may I humbly urge us all to make modest contributions and also make good use of this opportunity to increase our knowledge on anti-corruption matters. A reminder and also a wake-up call. It looks so apparent that obviously the legislature must have a role, but times are evolving. Our society is dramatically organic, and the direction in which it is drifting makes all of us very uncomfortable. Therefore, I assume that one of the things we'll be taking away from here are new ways by which you can enforce the role, constitutional role, that the legislature has to play. The thoughtful theme is incisive, and it calls to mind the frontline role that the legislature plays in the theme of our constitutional arrangement. The legislature is the ultimate guarantor of democracy, good governance, accountability, transparency, and openness in public affairs. It is unique in the sense that with other forms of government, you have the executive and the judicial arm oftentimes represented. It is the legislature that drops out. So it is the legislature that distinguishes democracy as a system of government. We're familiar with what Section 15(5) of the Constitution says, as amended, which adjoins the state to abolish all corrupt practices and abuse of power. Through legislation, appropriation, investigation, oversight, and the scrutiny of public accounts, the legislature implements a very crucial fundamental objective and directive principle of state policy expressed by Section 15(5), which is now stretched and overstretched. So I think that we don't need any soothsayer. We don't need anybody to tell us that we're exaggerating anymore, that corruption is the enemy of development and good governance. Corruption is Nigeria's greatest challenge, and the push is singular push factor for national security challenges, our current economic decline, the expansion of poverty, the reduction in life expectancy, the high mortality rate that we suffer, the deteriorated livelihood experienced by our citizens. Corruption has also diminished the promotion and the strengthening of democratic institutions.
Invited as a participant or as a stakeholder in the fight against corruption in Nigeria to deliver a good message. I will be very, very brief in the sense that the chairman of the ICPC has already said it all. The role of the National Assembly, the committee, in the fight against corruption cannot be overemphasized. It is really very, very a great deal that this capacity building training workshop has been organized to facilitate and to enable and to educate the members of the House, the Assembly, towards their role to assist them and to strengthen their participation in the efforts of governance, in the efforts of to eradicate corruption in Nigeria, alongside with the other agencies, that is the executive and the judiciary. The National Assembly is really doing very well, especially the committee on anti-corruption. They have been giving us very, they have been accommodating us seriously, and we are actually enjoying and are performing our responsibilities without any issue. So really, I'm glad that I am here as a stakeholder, and we are participating in this, and we really appreciate the recognition that has been given to us. I would, at this juncture, thank the committee for inviting us, and thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, corruption undermines credibility of the public sector, erodes trust in government, and the ability to steer a country to achieve high economic growth and steer prosperity. It often weakens the impact of public service delivery, adversely affecting all the citizens. The many phases of corruption and the various ways it affects and impacts on the socio-economic and political system of our country and the continent are too glaring, especially with the current security challenges. The greatest expectation of His Excellency President Muhammad Buhari remains the ability of this government to eradicate corruption. Consequently, the Code of Conduct Bureau therefore has continued to work with government and civil societies to promote honesty, transparency, accountability, and the conduct of government business. The CCB pledges her unwavering support in the fight against corruption, especially in this era where anti-corruption agencies have moved away from interagency rivalry to collaboration. The Bureau will continue to work with the public sector, civil society organizations, the National Assembly to ensure that the collaborations are strengthened. In so doing, this is likely to promote greater transparency and accountability, which will not only improve governance but would help counter corruption. May I also add that the CCB is in the process of amending its act. We hope to count on the National Assembly House Committee, especially the House Committee on Anti-Corruption, to support the amendment. Thank you for having me. It is on this note I welcome all to this occasion and wish you fruitful deliberations.
Only be appreciative within the context of the perception Nigerian has about Nigerian legislature. And my plea and my prayer to our legislature is the fact that in our synergy or collaboration with the various anti-graft agencies in the fight against corruption, we must ensure that we change this narrative. The narrative of the parliament as is an organ of government that is being tainted with a lot of corrupt charges. The narrative of a parliament that has certain shady deals among themselves. The narrative of a parliament that has some undermining strength to undermine the anti-graft agency. I want to say boldly from the point of someone that has been a member of the executive before and now part of the legislature. That if there's any organ of government that can work closely with our various anti-graft agencies, that organ of government is the legislature. For the ICPC, for the EFCC, for the Conduct Bureau and some other related anti-graft agencies to work and achieve their mandate of fighting corruption, I think they should see the legislature as a partner that they can work with. You can work with them in strengthening the various legislation. You can work with them in their oversight function. You can work with them in ensuring that you join the advocacy by ensuring that the legislature are giving more funding to have the various mechanisms, the various machinery, the various structure within National Assembly to work with, to come up with researches, to come up with findings, to come up with a lot of collaboration from other agencies that can ensure them perform their role, the role of oversight. Oversight is key. Oversight is fundamental. And the cost of oversight by the Nigerian legislature, you see the parliament to join in the crusade against corruption.
I am highly delighted not only to be part of this momentous occasion, but also to be called upon to declare open this very all-important capacity building workshop organized for honorable members and staff of the House Committee on Anti-Corruption. You will recall that during my inaugural address to the House as Speaker, I stated that Nigerians are truly desirous of good governance and are looking to us to be the agents that with true, meaningful legislation combat insecurity, poverty, corruption, and other problems. Also in the document, Legislative Agenda of the 9th House of Representatives, Federal Republic of Nigeria, 2019 to 2023, the House noted 4 very critical areas to tackle corruption in the country. These: anti-corruption legislation, possibility of establishing special anti-corruption courts, strengthening the fight against corruption through increased funding of the anti-graft agencies, and separation of powers through constitutional amendment process in order to separate the office of the Minister of Justice from that of the Attorney General of the Federation. Consequently, when I was informed of this noble gesture from Comrade Adeniot Steve Tonk Foundation to boost the capacity of the committee, I was highly elated. I therefore say a big thank you to the foundation, the country rep, and all the staff. You are not only supporting the House Committee on Anti-Corruption, but the House of Representatives, the National Assembly, and by extension, the country at large. Because if through this avenue we get it right, it is to the benefit of the entire country. To the anti-graft agencies here present, I wish to also encourage you to organize similar capacity building workshops or to collaborate with the Committee on Sensitization Programs to curb or reduce corruption in the country, which would surely assist the committee to broaden their know-how on anti-corruption matters. I also wish to congratulate the leadership of the committee for this wonderful step in order to assist the committee in the discharge of her duties effectively. And may I also encourage members to make maximum use of this opportunity to appreciate fully and to increase their knowledge base. I sincerely hope that at the end of this workshop, its aim and objectives would have been realized by helping the legislature to come up with pieces of legislation that would truly stand the test of time. On this note, I hereby take the honor to officially declare this workshop open.